Putin is freaking out because Trump just did something that Russia was not expecting. Trump announced unprecedented support for Ukraine in terms of weapons. Roughly $10 billion in US arms are flowing into Ukraine as we speak. As if that wasn't enough, Russia is also getting hit with sanctions, and this time the sanctions are targeting countries like China, India, and Iran, who are buying Russian oil and supporting the Russian war machine. That means Russian allies will quickly abandon Putin in this senseless invasion that he started more than 3 years ago, since the Trump administration has taken office. And with your help, we can get it to more and more people. So if you guys paid attention, there were technically two big announcements. One announcement is, of course, the US will be providing Ukraine indirectly with more weapons. In fact, unprecedented levels of weapons. But these are not directly going to Ukraine. You see, what's happening is the weapons that NATO countries have in Europe and other European countries, they will be sent to Ukraine, and then these countries will order new weapons from the United States that they will use to build up their defenses. Now, in my opinion, the two big ways we are doing it this way is because, first of all, Ukraine badly needs Patriot missiles to defend their skies and defend their civilians. As you guys know, over the last month, Russia has truly ramped up their attacks against Ukrainian civilians and Ukrainian infrastructure, and that's why Ukraine has been begging for Patriot missiles and Patriot batteries to protect their skies. But unfortunately, this is just the reality of war. US was running low on Patriot batteries and Patriot interceptors. So the solution here is other countries who do have Patriot missiles, they will be transferred to Ukraine, and I'm guessing these countries will be able to fill up their defenses using other weapons that US has available. On top of that, the second reason is, I'm sure if you followed the election time coverage, Trump ran on the platform of making sure that US does not give out any free aid, which in my opinion, he did kind of fulfill that platform because he has signed a deal, a minerals deal with Ukraine, where we'll have part of the ownership of the minerals that Ukraine has. Well, now adding on to the same platform, he is now making European countries indirectly pay for the aid that's going to Ukraine. You see, they can transfer their weapons and their defenses to Ukraine, and they can order new ones, which indirectly they get an upgrade, US gets paid, and Ukraine gets what is needed. Only person who's getting the bad news is Vladimir Putin, but he has no one to blame but himself. And the reason I say this is because right after Trump's statement, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte made a statement, and he shared how this decision that was announced today was actually made back on Thursday. Well, guess what happened on Thursday? Russia launched the biggest airstrike against Ukrainian civilians. Based on Mark Rutte's statement, I'm certain that this strike played a huge role in President Trump deciding to support Ukraine with whatever it takes. So Putin has no one to blame but himself. Now we'll get into the details of the attack in just a second. If anyone wanted any proof that Putin is not for peace, well, we have that right after the statement. I'm sure after hearing the press conference, Putin was furious. So what did he do? He decided to bomb more Ukrainian civilians. Putin's response? Drones already launched at Ukraine from several directions. Putin does not want peace, he wants Ukraine, and he's willing to sacrifice every single Russian to do it. This is where we need to talk about the sanctions and not just the weapons. Of course, I'm sure Trump is sending some offensive weapons so that Ukraine can target arrows inside Russia, meaning Ukraine can target missile launchers and jets that are firing at Ukrainian civilians inside Russia. But that's not going to be enough if we want to put pressure on Putin, because as many of you guys may already know, defensive weapons are a lot more expensive than offensive weapons. And after all, no matter how strong a defensive system is, an air defense system is, it can always be overwhelmed. All you have to do is just send more and more drones and more missiles. That's why Trump is going after the root of this problem, the Russian war chest. You see, everyone probably knows that Putin stacked up for this war. He saved up a lot of dollar reserves. He saved up a lot of money from his oil revenues to prepare for a Ukrainian invasion. But he did not expect it to go this long. Even then, he has been able to fund this war through his shadow fleet.